Leo stared out of the small viewport of his shuttle as it descended into the alien atmosphere of Virelia. The planet shimmered with colors he had never seen before. Rivers glowed faintly in green and blue hues, while enormous floating plants drifted slowly above the ground, casting strange shadows on the forests below. It was beautiful but also unsettling. He had trained for this mission for years, yet nothing in the simulators had prepared him for this sight. His heart pounded in his chest. He was the first human envoy to set foot on Virelia, sent by the United Earth Alliance to establish peace with the ruling alien empire. As the shuttle touched the soft violet soil of the landing platform, Leo took a deep breath. He checked his communicator and nodded to himself. First contact. Don't mess it up, he whispered. The shuttle doors hissed open and a gentle, warm breeze carried a strange scent, not unpleasant but unlike anything on Earth. Leo stepped out, his boots sinking slightly into the soft ground. Around him, towering structures of crystal and metal gleamed in the sunlight. Birds, or something like birds, flew in patterns that made him dizzy if he tried to follow them. Alien attendants approached, their movements precise and fluid. Their skin shimmered with faint bioluminescence, changing colors as they walked. "Welcome, human Leo," one of them said, its voice melodic but firm. "I am Myra, your guide to the Imperial Palace." Leo nodded, trying not to stare. "Thank you, I appreciate it." The walk from the landing platform to the palace was unlike any journey Leo had ever taken. The streets were lined with gardens of floating flowers and streams of glowing water flowed along pathways without spilling over. He saw alien children, curious but shy, peeking from behind crystalline pillars. He noticed the way the guards moved, almost like dancers, silent but always alert. Finally, they arrived at the palace gates. They were enormous, carved from a single piece of dark crystal, and inscribed with glowing symbols. Leo's mouth went dry. This is incredible," he murmured. Myra inclined her head. "You're about to meet the Empress. It is unusual for her to meet a human personally. Be prepared for surprises." Leo swallowed nervously. "I'll try." The doors opened silently. Inside, the throne chamber stretched farther than he could see. Light shimmered off crystal walls and reflected in a way that made the room feel alive. And there, sitting on a raised platform, was Empress Saria. She was taller than any human, her figure graceful and almost ethereal. Her skin glowed softly with shifting colors like sunlight through water. Her eyes were large, dark, and intelligent. She looked directly at him. Then Leo froze. The Empress knelt down. Slowly, deliberately, she lowered herself onto one knee, lowering her head in a gesture he had never seen outside of ancient Earth ceremonies. Leo's jaw dropped. He stumbled backward, unsure if he should bow, run, or speak. I don't understand," he stammered. Why are you kneeling?" Myra's eyes flicked nervously between them. It is not usual, even for her," she said softly. Saria lifted her head slightly, her glowing eyes fixed on Leo. She didn't speak. She just stayed there, kneeling as if waiting for something. Leo's mind raced. He had studied the Virelian Empire for months. He knew they had strict hierarchies, but humans were considered insignificant. Yet here she was, the most powerful being on the planet, showing him a level of respect he didn't understand. Finally he spoke, his voice shaking slightly. I'm just a human. I don't understand why you're— Do not be afraid." A calm, melodious voice interrupted him. It was Saria, though her mouth had barely moved. Her voice resonated in his mind as well as in the room, bypassing translation devices. "I see what others cannot," Leo blinked. "See what?" Saria's head remained bowed slightly. "Potential, courage, a spark that few possess." He shook his head, feeling foolish. I didn't do anything yet. I'm just here. Me." Saria slowly rose to her full height. Her glow brightened, filling the chamber with soft light. She studied him with an intensity that made his stomach twist. "And yet here you are. You have come willingly into the unknown, and you face it without fear. That alone is rare." Leo swallowed hard. I guess I never thought of it that way." She stepped closer, her presence commanding yet oddly comforting. "Most beings would tremble in my presence. Yet you stand as if you belong. It is why I knelt, not in submission, but in acknowledgement." Leo felt a strange mixture of pride and confusion. "Acknowledgement? Of what?" "Of what humans can be," she said simply. "You carry a light within you. Even in small ways, you can change what others believe. That is why you are here. He struggled to absorb her words. He had trained for diplomacy, for negotiation, for survival. But nothing had prepared him for being honored by someone he barely knew. I don't know what to say, he admitted. You need not speak yet, Saria replied. Actions will speak for you soon enough. Myra stepped forward, giving a subtle nod to Leo. The Empress wishes to see your abilities, though not as a test. Consider it a demonstration of human potential, Leo frowned. Abilities? I'm just a human envoy. I can communicate, negotiate, maybe solve problems. But I don't have powers. Saria's eyes glimmered with amusement. Strength is not only measured in force or speed. We will see soon enough how your mind, your heart, and your choices shape events here. Leo took a deep breath and tried to steady himself. He followed Myra deeper into the palace, past glowing corridors and floating stairways. Servants bowed slightly as he passed. He noticed other aliens observing him quietly, their expressions unreadable. He felt like he had walked into a dream, where everyone was aware of something he was not. Finally, they reached a large garden in the center of the palace. Giant flowers with petals like glass swayed gently in the breeze. Streams of water reflected soft light across the ground. It was serene, almost peaceful, yet Leo could feel the undercurrent of energy in the air. Saria approached him slowly, her glow pulsating softly. She stopped a few feet away. This is where we begin, she said. Your journey here is not simply to speak, but to show what it means to be human. Leo blinked. I don't understand yet. How can just being human mean anything? Saria smiled faintly, her glowing eyes intense. Because humans are rare in their unpredictability. You act not only with reason but with hope, with courage, and with choices that others cannot imagine. That is why I knelt. Leo felt a chill run down his spine. He looked around at the alien attendants and scholars who had quietly followed them into the garden. They too seemed to watch him with new attention, as if waiting to see what he would do next. Okay, he said finally, trying to steady his voice. If this is about proving myself, then I will try. I don't know what comes next, but I'll do my best. Saria inclined her head slightly, her glow softening. Good, that's enough for now. Let the first steps of your presence here begin. Watch, observe, and act when the moment calls for it. You are already part of something greater than yourself, Leo. Leo swallowed again. He still didn't fully understand why the Empress had knelt, why the entire empire seemed to notice him differently. But he realized one thing. Nothing about this mission would be ordinary. Every choice he made, every step he took, could change how the humans and Virelians would see each other forever. As he followed Saria deeper into the gardens, he felt a mixture of fear and excitement. He was a single human on an alien planet, facing a civilization older and more advanced than anything Earth had known. And yet, for the first time, he felt a spark of hope that humans could matter here, not by strength alone, but by courage, wisdom, and choices that could inspire even the most alien beings. The sun, or whatever served as the sun on Virelia, cast a warm glow across the floating gardens. Leo took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. The Empress had knelt. She had acknowledged him. And somewhere deep inside, he felt that this was just the beginning of something far greater than he could imagine. For the first time in his life, Leo realized that being human could mean more than survival. It could mean inspiring awe, respect, and change in ways that even the most powerful Empress could not ignore. The gardens of the Virelian palace were unlike anything Leo had ever seen. Giant plants hovered in the air, their roots dangling like glowing ribbons. Streams of crystal-clear water flowed along winding paths, reflecting soft light across the walls of the palace. Leo had expected grandeur, but this was beyond imagination. The entire place seemed alive, and he felt eyes on him everywhere, even when no one was visible. Why is everyone staring at me? Leo whispered to Myra, who walked silently beside him. They are not staring, Myra replied softly, her voice calm as ever. They are observing. Humans are rare here. Not many come willingly into our world, especially one who faces the Empress without fear. Leo shook his head. I'm just me. I don't have any special powers or anything. Perhaps, Myra said, but your mind, your courage, your choices, they are remarkable. The Empress knows this. That is why she knelt. Leo thought about it again. Her kneeling had shocked him at first. It had seemed almost wrong. But now, walking through the palace with all its beauty and silent attentiveness, he felt a strange sense of importance, as if every small movement he made mattered. They reached a pavilion in the center of the garden. The structure was open on all sides, supported by translucent pillars that shimmered in rainbow colors. In the middle was a low table, surrounded by soft, floating lights. "Please, human Leo, sit," Saria said, her glowing presence filling the pavilion. She had followed them silently, her robe flowing like liquid light. Leo hesitated, then lowered himself to the ground. "This is amazing," he said. "I feel like I'm in a dream," Saria smiled faintly. "Many visitors say the same. But dreams can reveal truths, and you are about to see one." Leo looked at her curiously. "A dream?" "Not exactly," she said. "But an observation. Humans are unpredictable. I have studied many species in this galaxy. Most act according to patterns, predictable and constrained. Humans, you act with curiosity, with empathy, with decisions that surprise others. That is why my people respect you even before knowing you fully." Leo's eyebrows rose. "You mean, respect me just for being human?" "Yes," Saria said simply. "Because humans are capable of things others rarely achieve. You adapt, you connect, you inspire. Even your mistakes can become lessons for others." Leo nodded slowly, feeling a strange warmth. "I never thought of it that way. Back on Earth, people mostly worry about surviving, competing. I never imagined that humans could be admired across the stars." Saria's glowing eyes softened. "Admiration is earned not by size, strength, or technology, but by choices. That is why I knelt. You carry the potential to influence, to bring balance, to inspire courage." Leo blinked. "Balance. Inspire courage. That sounds like something out of a storybook." "Perhaps," she said. "But even storybooks have roots in truth. Observe and you will see." At that moment, a commotion arose at the far edge of the garden. A group of palace attendants ran toward a glowing archway, their expressions tense. Leo followed instinctively, curious and alert. "Something is wrong," Myra said. "Stay close." They reached the source of the disturbance. A creature unlike any Leo had seen before had broken free from its containment. Its body was massive, covered in scales that reflected the light of the floating gardens. Its eyes glowed faintly red, and long tendrils waved in the air as it roared. Virelian guards moved quickly, forming a circle around the creature. They carried weapons that emitted soft pulses of energy, designed to immobilize without harming. Yet, despite their precision, the creature was too strong, too fast, and too clever. Every time they tried to contain it, it twisted and dodged effortlessly. Leo's heart raced. What do I do?" he asked Myra. "Observe first," she replied. "Then act when the opportunity arises." Leo crouched, studying the creature. He noticed its behavior was not purely aggressive. It seemed frightened, confused, and trying to escape more than to attack. Many species reacted to fear with panic or violence, but this creature responded to signals, to presence, to intention. He took a deep breath. Humans relied on understanding, improvisation, and empathy, skills that even advanced alien civilizations did not always appreciate. Leo stepped forward carefully, keeping his hands visible. "Hey, it's okay," he said, his voice soft but firm. The creature froze slightly, its tendrils lowering. Leo continued, "You don't have to hurt anyone. Just come with me." For a moment, nothing happened. Then the creature tilted its head, almost as if it were considering his words. Leo slowly reached into a small pack and took out a device he had carried. Nothing more than a simple containment net, but one designed to expand and glow when deployed. He activated it, letting it float in front of him. The creature hesitated, watching him carefully. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, it lunged, but Leo's instincts were faster. He guided it gently with the floating net, herding it toward the containment field. The guards watched, astonished, as the human coordinated the capture without weapons. Without force, just understanding and patience. Finally, the creature settled into the field, calm but still alert. The guards lowered their weapons, clearly impressed. Leo exhaled, feeling both relief and amazement at what he had just done. Saria appeared beside him, her glow softening. "Remarkable," she said. "You did not act out of fear or aggression. You observed, you understood, and you guided. That is the strength I see in humans." Leo felt a flush of pride. I didn't know I could do that. I tried to stay calm and think." "And that is enough," Saria said. "Actions speak louder than words, and yours have spoken volumes." Myra gave him a subtle nod. The Empress is pleased. You have proven more than skill. You have proven understanding, patience, and courage. That is rare, even among Virelians. Leo looked at her, still trying to comprehend. So this is why you knelt at first? Syria smiled faintly. Yes. You possess qualities that inspire respect without demanding it. That is the power of being human. It is why I, and others of my kind, recognize potential even before it is proven. Leo walked slowly through the gardens, absorbing her words. The floating lights above seemed to shine brighter, and he noticed that other attendants and scholars were observing him differently. There was curiosity, yes, but also a quiet admiration. For the first time, he felt truly significant, not because of power, or rank, or even skill, but because of what he could bring to the world through thought, courage, and choice. Saria followed him silently for a moment, then spoke again. You will face more challenges here, Leo. Some will test your courage, some your wisdom. Others will test your heart. But remember this, you are already seen for what you truly are, and that is rare in the galaxy. Leo nodded slowly. I think I understand a little more now. I just have to be myself and act wisely. Exactly, Saria said. And in doing so, you will teach even the most advanced beings something new. That is the essence of what humans bring. Leo took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of awe and responsibility. The palace no longer seemed intimidating. It was a place of learning, a place where choices mattered, where actions could inspire, and he was part of it, not as a visitor, but as someone whose presence could shape events in ways no one could predict. As he walked beside Saria, the garden stretched endlessly, filled with possibilities. Floating bridges arched over streams, glowing flowers swayed in the gentle breeze, and the soft hum of energy from the palace walls surrounded him. For the first time, Leo felt that being human was not just about survival, not just about skill, not just about strength, it was about potential, and he knew that this was only the beginning. The Empress had knelt. She had acknowledged him, and now he had begun to see why. The calm of the Virelian palace gardens did not last long. As Leo walked beside Saria, he noticed subtle changes in the palace. Attendants whispered to one another, guards moved with greater intensity, and even the floating lights seemed to flicker with tension. Leo frowned. Something was coming. Myra, what's happening? He asked quietly. Myra's bioluminescent eyes flickered. A challenge is approaching. It is unusual, but it will test not only your courage, but your ability to act under pressure. Leo swallowed. I thought I already proved something. You did, Myra said, but potential is not proven once. It is measured continuously through choices, actions, and the effect they have on others. Leo nodded slowly, trying to prepare himself. A sudden alarm rang through the palace, low and vibrating, echoing through the crystalline corridors. Guards rushed past him, their weapons emitting gentle pulses of energy. Leo's pulse quickened. Saria's voice resonated in his mind. Leo, follow me, quickly! They ran through the corridors, the glowing walls reflecting their movement. When they reached the central chamber, Leo froze. A massive creature, taller than any human or Virelian, had broken through the palace gates. Its body was armored with shimmering scales, and multiple glowing eyes scanned the room. It roared, sending tremors through the floors. The guards hesitated, unsure how to approach it without causing destruction. Leo's heart pounded. This was far beyond anything he had anticipated. The creature was intelligent, fierce, and desperate. If it rampaged through the city, countless lives would be lost. Saria placed a glowing hand on his shoulder. Observe first, then act. You are capable, Leo. Trust your instincts. He nodded, swallowing hard. He studied the creature carefully. It moved with purpose, but not purely out of aggression. Leo noticed subtle signals in its posture, anxieties, hesitation, and moments of calculation. It was trying to communicate, to assert dominance, or perhaps to escape. Humans relied on observation and adaptation, skills that even the Virelians did not always appreciate. Leo took a deep breath. He stepped forward, keeping his hands open and visible. Hey, it's okay, he said in a calm voice. The creature paused, tilting its head. The guards looked at him in shock. One whispered, Are you mad? That thing could kill you instantly. But Leo saw something they did not. The creature's fear. Its aggression was a mask for confusion. It was trapped, overwhelmed, and searching for a way out. He reached into his pack and pulled out a simple containment device, a net that glowed softly when deployed. He activated it and let it hover in front of him. The creature lunged, but Leo moved calmly, guiding it with the glowing net rather than brute force. Slowly, he maneuvered it toward the containment field. Saria watched silently, her glow pulsing softly. Guards and attendants murmured in awe as the human coordinated the capture without using traditional weapons. Finally, the creature settled inside the field, its movements subdued but alert. The chamber fell silent. The guards lowered their weapons, clearly astonished. Saria approached Leo, her eyes glowing brighter. "Remarkable," she said. "You acted with intelligence, courage, and empathy. Most would have panicked or attacked blindly. You understood, you guided, and you protected lives." Leo felt a mix of relief and pride. I didn't know I could do that. I just tried to stay calm and think." "And that is enough," Saria said. "Your strength is not in force alone, but in understanding. That is what I see in humans. That is why I knelt when I first saw you." Leo blinked, trying to grasp it all. "So? The respect was for what I could do, not what I already did?" Saria's glow softened. "Potential is always recognized before action. You inspire through what you represent. Courage, choice, and empathy. Actions confirm it, but the recognition comes first." Leo nodded slowly, realizing the truth in her words. Humans had often been underestimated in his world. On Virelia, however, his qualities, common on Earth but rare across the stars, were already noticed and admired. After the creature was secured, Saria led Leo to a quiet chamber overlooking the palace. The view was breathtaking. Rivers glowed like molten light, and the forest stretched endlessly into the horizon. Floating plants drifted lazily in the sky, reflecting the fading light. "Your first challenge is complete," Saria said, "but there will be more. Each test will be different. Some will challenge your mind, some your heart, and others your courage. All will reveal who you truly are." Leo sat down, exhausted but exhilarated. "I don't even know how I managed that," he admitted. "It just felt natural to try and help instead of fight." "Exactly," Saria said. "That is the human way. You value life, understanding, and choices over brute force. That is why your presence here matters so much," Myra added quietly. "The Empress's kneeling is not mere ceremony. It is recognition of what humans can do, qualities that even the most advanced civilizations struggle to appreciate." Leo leaned back, looking at the glowing city around him. He felt small yet somehow significant. He had not expected to be honored simply for his nature, but the Virelians saw something deeper, something that humans often overlooked in themselves. Saria watched him with a soft intensity. "Humans have the ability to unite, to inspire, to lead, not by dominance but by understanding. That is why your kind is respected across galaxies, despite being few and seemingly weak." Leo's chest swelled slightly with pride. I never realized humans could be seen that way. Back on Earth, we mostly fight each other, compete, or survive. I didn't think we could inspire anyone beyond ourselves." Saria's eyes glowed softly. "Inspiration is not limited by size or strength. It comes from choices, actions, and courage. You have all three. That is why the Empress of Virelia knelt before you." Leo looked down, thinking of his family, his friends, and the world he had left behind. Somehow, this faraway planet, these alien beings, had recognized something in him that even he had not fully understood. Myra spoke again. "There are others who doubt humans. They will test you, mock you, even try to undermine you. But remember, your qualities are rare, and they are respected here, even if they are not always understood." Leo nodded, determination building inside him. "I'll do my best. I want to show them, and myself, what humans can really do." Saria inclined her head. "That is all anyone can ask. And already you have begun to change perceptions, not through power, but through courage, understanding, and empathy. That is the essence of human potential." The rest of the day passed in a blur. Leo toured more of the palace, observing the Empire's culture, their advanced technology, and their intricate systems of governance. Everywhere he went, the creatures of Virelia seemed to watch him, not with suspicion, but with curiosity and silent respect. He realized that even without knowing it, he was teaching them something, that humans could act decisively, thoughtfully, and with care. By evening, Leo returned to the central garden. The floating lights had dimmed, casting soft shadows across the paths. Syria met him there, her glow calm and soothing. "Rest, Leo," she said. "Tomorrow will bring new challenges. But know this, your first steps have already left a mark. Your actions today have proven what humans can achieve when they act with courage and wisdom." Leo sat down, feeling the weight of her words. He thought of the creature he had guided, the palace attendants who had watched in awe, and the Empress who had knelt before him. He realized something profound. Being human was not just about survival or strength. It was about choice, courage, and the ability to inspire change even in the most advanced civilizations. As night fell over Virelia, Leo looked up at the glowing sky. Stars shimmered in unfamiliar patterns, and he felt a sense of connection he could not explain. He had come as a simple human envoy, uncertain and inexperienced. Yet now he was part of something much greater, a world where humans could be respected, admired, and valued for qualities that transcended physical might. And somewhere deep inside, he felt the truth of Syria's initial gesture. The kneeling, the recognition. It was not just an honor, it was a promise that humans, no matter how few or small, could shine brightly in the galaxy not through domination, but through courage, understanding, and the power of choice. Leo closed his eyes, feeling both exhausted and exhilarated. He knew tomorrow would bring new tests, new challenges, and perhaps new dangers. But he also knew that humans had a place here, not just as visitors, but as beings capable of inspiring respect and admiration in even the most alien worlds. For the first time, Leo felt that being human was something extraordinary, something worthy of notice, and something that could truly change the course of events on a distant planet far beyond Earth. He had proven more than skill. He had proven the value of humanity itself. The days that followed Leo's first challenge passed quickly. The Palace of Virelia was a place of constant motion and quiet observation. Floating lights glided down corridors, casting soft glows on crystal walls, while attendants moved like dancers, attending to duties with precision and grace. Every step Leo took seemed to be noticed, not with fear but with curiosity and respect. Syria, the Empress, invited him to spend more time in her presence. She wanted him to understand the Empire not only through observation, but through experience. Leo accepted eagerly. He was determined to learn and to prove that humans could contribute meaningfully to a world so different from his own. One morning, Syria led Leo to a chamber overlooking the city. It was circular with glass walls that curved up to form a dome. The city stretched endlessly below them, a mixture of glowing buildings and floating gardens. The sky was a swirl of colors, soft purples and blues with streaks of gold. "Leo," Syria said, her voice calm yet filled with intensity, "today you will witness something important. You will see how decisions, even small ones, can ripple through an entire civilization." Leo leaned against the curved wall, absorbing the view. "I think I understand what you mean," he said. "Yesterday with the creature, I acted instinctively, but it changed how everyone saw me. I guess even small choices can have big effects." Syria nodded. "Exactly. Humans are remarkable in that way. Your actions carry weight, not just because of skill, but because of intention, empathy, and courage. That is what inspires others." Leo looked down at the city. "I never thought humans could be admired like this. Back on Earth, people mostly fight for power, wealth, or survival. No one stops to notice courage or thoughtfulness the way you do. Perhaps your world has forgotten," Syria said gently, "but those qualities are still there. They are in your actions, in your choices, in the way you see others." They walked together through the city's central garden, where streams of glowing water flowed beneath floating bridges. Giant flowers shifted color as they passed, and small creatures with wings like translucent glass fluttered around them. Leo could feel the quiet attention of the Virelians around him, their eyes soft with curiosity. Syria stopped by a small bridge overlooking a pool of softly glowing water. "Leo, humans are unusual not because of strength or speed, but because of their capacity to inspire loyalty and courage in ways others cannot." Leo looked at her. I don't understand fully." "What do you mean?" Syria smiled faintly. "You have qualities that are rare in this galaxy. Courage, yes, but also empathy and adaptability. You act in ways that others do not anticipate, yet your actions are effective. That is why my people notice you." Leo's stomach tightened. "So, The first time you knelt, it wasn't just because of respect. It was because you saw something I didn't even know I had? Yes, Saria said. Humans carry potential that is often hidden. You show it through action, through thought, and sometimes simply by being. That is why the kneeling occurred. It is recognition, not submission. Leo blinked, trying to absorb her words. Recognition. I never imagined humans could be recognized like that by being so powerful. Saria inclined her head. Power is not the measure here. Understanding, empathy, and the ability to inspire are what matter most. That is the true strength of humans. As they continued walking, Leo noticed that even the guards and attendants who passed them gave subtle nods, their expressions softening. It was clear that Saria's respect for him had influenced how others viewed him. He felt both pride and humility. Later, Saria invited him to the palace's council chamber, where discussions about the empire's governance took place. Humans had no direct authority here, yet she wanted him to observe the processes and offer his perspective. Leo, she said as they entered, many of our decisions are made with careful calculation. Logic is valued highly, but sometimes the heart must guide action. That is where humans excel. The council chamber was vast, with floating platforms where Virelian leaders spoke from glowing podiums. Their language was musical and flowing, but through translation devices, Leo understood every word. Discussions about trade, resource management, and interplanetary relations filled the room. Leo listened intently. When a conflict over resource distribution arose, he offered a simple solution based on fairness and efficiency. His suggestion was met with initial skepticism, but as he explained the reasoning behind it, the council members began to nod. By the end of the session, the room had accepted his input, impressed by the clarity and practicality of his thought. Saria watched silently, her eyes glowing softly. You see, Leo, humans bring perspective that others do not consider. Your insight is simple yet effective. That is why your presence here is valuable. Leo smiled, a mixture of pride and disbelief. I never thought I could contribute in a place like this. I always assumed humans were small, weak, or unimportant compared to beings like you. Saria shook her head. It is a common misconception. Strength is not only measured in physical power or numbers. It is measured in courage, wisdom, and the ability to inspire. Humans have all three, often in ways the galaxy does not recognize. After the council session, Leo and Saria returned to the gardens. The sky was now a deep shade of violet, with stars beginning to appear. Floating lights glimmered along the pathways, creating a serene atmosphere. You have done well today, Saria said, but challenges will continue. There will be times when your courage, your wisdom, and your empathy are tested. Always remember your qualities are rare, and they are noticed even when others do not speak of them. Leo nodded. I understand. I will do my best. Saria's gaze softened. You already have. That is why I knelt at first sight, not because you had proven yourself yet, but because I could see what humans are capable of. Even now, your presence inspires others to act better, to think differently. Leo felt a warmth in his chest. For the first time, he realized that being human was not about competing with strength or numbers. It was about courage, understanding, and the choices one made. His actions, his words, his decisions, they carried weight in ways he had never imagined. As night deepened, Saria led him to a quiet balcony overlooking the glowing city below. Leo leaned against the railing, taking in the scene. The air was cool and crisp, filled with the soft hum of life in the palace gardens. You see, Leo, Saria said softly, humans are capable of forming bonds that are rare, even among the oldest civilizations. That is why your presence here is significant. It is not only your actions, but your ability to connect with others, to inspire trust and courage that matters most. Leo looked at her, feeling a mixture of humility and resolve. I never imagined humans could be seen this way. But now I think I understand. We may be few and we may lack the power of your kind. But our choices, our courage, and our empathy, they can make a difference. Saria smiled faintly. Exactly. That is why the galaxy has reason to notice humans. And that is why your journey here is only beginning. You will face trials, yes, but each will show the strength of your kind. And each will inspire those around you. Leo felt a sense of purpose he had never known. The kneeling, the recognition, the quiet respect, it all made sense now. Humans had a place here not as conquerors, but as catalysts for change, as beings whose choices could shape events far beyond what anyone expected. He looked out over the glowing city, feeling a deep connection to Virelia, to Syria, and to the potential within himself. He realized that being human was not just about survival. It was about inspiring, leading, and showing courage in ways that could ripple across civilizations. Syria placed a glowing hand on his shoulder. Rest now, Leo. Tomorrow will bring new challenges. But remember this. You have already begun to change perceptions not through power but through courage, understanding, and empathy. That is the essence of humanity. Leo nodded, feeling both exhaustion and excitement. He knew that his journey on Virelia was far from over. There would be tests of mind, heart, and courage. But he also knew that he was capable, that his human qualities, often underestimated, were remarkable in ways even the most advanced beings could recognize. As he prepared to rest, Leo reflected on the days he had spent on Virelia. He had come as a simple envoy, uncertain of his place. Now he understood that humans were valued not for size or strength, but for qualities that could inspire entire civilizations. His actions, his choices, and his courage had begun to leave a mark. For the first time, Leo felt the true meaning of the Empress's kneeling. It was not merely a gesture of respect. It was recognition of potential, a recognition that even a single human could influence events in ways that mattered deeply. And as he drifted into sleep, Leo knew that tomorrow would bring more challenges, more opportunities to prove himself, and more ways to show the galaxy what humans could truly accomplish. He had begun to understand what it meant to be human in the vast, alien world of Virelia, and he was ready to embrace it fully. The sun, or whatever passed for a sun on Virelia, was low in the sky, casting long, colorful shadows across the palace gardens. Leo stood beside Empress Syria, looking out over the glowing city below. A sense of unease had settled over the empire. Word had come that a rival faction from a distant system was moving toward Virelia, planning an invasion. The Virelians were advanced, yes, but even they had vulnerabilities. The city's defenses could hold for a time, but strategy, courage, and clever thinking would be essential to protect the empire. Syria turned to Leo, her glowing eyes calm yet filled with intensity. "Leo," she said, "the time has come for your greatest test, not as a human alone, but as someone who can inspire, lead, and act decisively, in ways that even the strongest of my people cannot. Are you ready?" Leo took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her words. I'll do my best. I know what I can contribute, and I'll try to help in any way I can." Syria's glow pulsed gently, a sign of approval. "Then let us begin." The palace council had gathered, their floating platform shimmering in anticipation. The threat was real, and tension hung in the air. Leo studied the maps projected in mid-air, noting the positions of Virelia's defenses, the city's key locations, and the possible approach paths of the enemy fleet. Humans had limited technology compared to the Virelians, yet Leo's advantage lay elsewhere: strategy, creativity, and understanding the unexpected. Most beings would respond with force alone, Leo said, speaking confidently, but attacking blindly could cause massive casualties. We need a plan that uses the city's strengths, misleads the enemy, and inspires the citizens and defenders to act effectively. The Virelian leaders murmured among themselves. They had never heard a human speak with such clarity and strategy, yet his reasoning was simple and logical. Syria watched silently, allowing him to explain. Leo continued, "We can use the floating gardens as barriers, channels of glowing water to mislead their sensors, and controlled energy pulses to confuse them. We also need to position key forces at points where they can defend efficiently, without exposing the city to unnecessary risk." Syria nodded. "Excellent. Your plan relies on creativity, understanding, and courage, all qualities humans possess in ways few others do. Implement it." The following hours were tense. Leo directed the placement of forces, guided the construction of defensive structures, and coordinated with the Virelian engineers. He moved quickly yet carefully, making decisions that balanced risk and reward. Soldiers and citizens alike followed his instructions, inspired by his confidence and clarity. When the enemy fleet finally arrived, it was a spectacle of swirling ships and alien energy weapons. Yet Leo's preparations worked. The floating gardens created obstacles, the glowing water channels misled sensors, and controlled energy pulses caused confusion among the attackers. Virelian forces moved efficiently, guided by Leo's insight, and the invading faction struggled to find a way through. In the heart of the city, Leo coordinated directly with Syria, their actions synchronized. Together, they guided forces, adjusted strategies, and ensured that every step minimized loss of life while maximizing effectiveness. Hours passed, but gradually, the tide turned. The enemy fleet, confused and unable to adapt to the unexpected strategies, began to retreat. Virelia had been saved not by sheer force, but by the combination of human insight, alien technology, and the courage to act decisively in the face of uncertainty. As the last enemy ships disappeared beyond the horizon, a cheer rose through the city. Citizens and soldiers alike celebrated, their faces filled with relief and admiration. Leo stood beside Syria, exhausted but exhilarated. He had faced a threat far greater than any he had imagined, and his choices had made the difference. Syria turned to him, her glow brightening. "Leo, you have done more than survive. You have led, inspired, and shown what humans are truly capable of. This day will be remembered not only in the history of Virelia, but in the story of your people." Leo shook his head, still catching his breath. I just did what I thought was right. I never imagined it could make such a difference." "Exactly," Syria said softly. "That is the power of humans. You act and others follow, not because they must, but because they believe in your courage, your wisdom, and your heart. That is why I knelt when I first saw you, and why I continue to honor you now." Leo felt a warmth in his chest he had never experienced before. The kneeling, the recognition, had been a mystery for so long, but now he understood fully. Humans were respected, admired, and valued not for their size or strength, but for their ability to inspire, to choose wisely, and to act courageously. The celebrations continued, but Leo remained with Syria, standing quietly in the central gardens. Floating lights shimmered softly above them, and the city glowed with life and relief. "You have changed perceptions here," Syria said, "not through power but through example. Humans are rare in the galaxy, and yet their qualities are remarkable. Today, you have proven it again." Leo nodded slowly. "I never thought being human could mean so much. Back on Earth, we fight, compete, survive. I never realized that qualities like courage, empathy, and understanding could be valued so highly." "They are," Syria said, "and now the Empire knows it. Your actions today will be remembered as an example of what humans can achieve, even in worlds far beyond their own." Leo looked out over the city, thinking of his family, his friends, and the world he had left behind. He realized that humans had a place here, not as conquerors, not as invaders, but as beings capable of inspiring change, courage, and cooperation across civilizations. Syria placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "Leo, rest now. Your journey here has been remarkable. But remember, it is not only the challenges you face, but the choices you make and the courage you show that define your legacy." Leo smiled, feeling both tired and proud. "I think I understand now. Humans may be few, but our choices, our courage, our empathy, can truly make a difference." "Exactly," Syria said. "And that is why I knelt at first sight. Not because you had proven yourself yet, but because I could see your potential. Today your actions have confirmed it. Tomorrow the galaxy will know it too." As night fell over Virelia, the city sparkled with glowing lights, reflecting a sense of hope, unity, and admiration. Leo walked through the palace gardens, feeling a deep connection to this world and its people. He had come as a simple human envoy, uncertain and inexperienced. Now, he was someone whose courage, wisdom, and empathy had left a mark on an entire civilization. He stopped on a balcony, looking at the glowing rivers, floating gardens, and distant stars. Somewhere out there in the vast galaxy, humans were rare and underestimated. Yet he knew that his kind could shine brightly, not through force, but through courage, understanding, and the ability to inspire others. Syria appeared beside him, her glow soft and calming. "Leo, your journey on Virelia is only beginning, but your legacy is already clear. Humans are extraordinary, not in their power, but in their potential, and that is why you are honored here." Leo nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her words. For the first time, he truly understood what it meant to be human in the vast alien galaxy. It was not strength or numbers that mattered, but courage, wisdom, empathy, and the ability to act decisively when it mattered most. The Empress had knelt. She had recognized him. And now the entire empire, and perhaps the galaxy, would see the true worth of humanity. As he gazed at the stars above, Leo realized that being human was not just about survival. It was about inspiring courage, shaping events through choice, and proving that even the smallest among civilizations could leave a lasting impact. And in that moment, he felt something extraordinary, a deep, unwavering pride in his humanity, and a determination to continue showing the galaxy what humans could achieve. The night air of Virelia was cool and filled with life. Floating lights shimmered like stars, and soft sounds of distant creatures echoed across the gardens. Leo took a deep breath, feeling both exhaustion and exhilaration. He had faced challenges beyond his imagination, guided an empire in crisis, and discovered the true value of his kind. Syria stood beside him silently, her presence calm but powerful. "You have proven more than skill, more than courage. You have proven what it means to be human. That is a legacy worth more than any victory in battle." Leo nodded, a quiet smile forming on his face. "Thank you for believing in me and for showing me what humans can truly do." Syria's glow softened into a warm, steady light. "No, Leo. It is not I who believed in you, it is the universe that recognizes the value of your kind. Today, you have proven it to all who witness it. You have shown that humans, though few and often underestimated, can inspire, lead, and protect with courage and wisdom.